Hi there, I'm Robin Boyce for City Corner. We've got a lot of great things to talk about, an old hair care business and what's going on in the streets. Come on back. Welcome back to City Corner. I'm Robin Boyce. We've got a great show ahead of us here today. But in the studios with me right now is someone I've known for years. I think I knew this baby when she was a baby, when her parents started this business. Please welcome to our City Corner studios, Miss Sheila Forrest. How you doing, lady?
I'm doing great.
You are president of Afro World. Yay. I mean, Afro World is kind of like, well, it's not kind of, it is an iconic business here in the St. Louis area that has thrived for over, what, 40, 50 some odd years now?
Yeah, 47.
47 years. I remember when you all got your start, when everybody was popping the afros, and we were trying to find the right kind of hair care products to use and the kinds of instruments to use and things like that. And so Afro World got started in the hair business,
right,
and the hair care business. Also, I didn't know until one day I saw him take it off. For years and years and years, I had these uncles that were always, they was sharp as a tack all the time, including my dad, but he didn't wear one. But I had an uncle for years, I had no idea he was wearing a toupee. And this was one of the only places African-American men, Afro World, could find toupees to wear just to keep that look and not even, not miss a beat at all.
Right, well, that's how the business started because, you know, my dad was in corporate, and at the age of 20 plus something, he started to lose his hair, and he knew women were wearing some extensions, but he wanted to find some place that he can go to get something to match his hair texture, and he couldn't find anything, so he created his own. And then people started to ask him, like, hey, Russ, what did you do? How did you do this? And so that's how the business kind of evolved.
Wow,
and literally left corporate to start Afro World, which his family thought it was insane.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it was ambitious.
Yes,
it was very ambitious for him to do that. But as luck would have it, or blessings would have it, it has been a great thing. And I'm second generation and proud to say that I am.
Second generation in the business of Afro World. We've got some pictures too that we took out there just to kind of show people some of the products, some of the things. This is a place that, to me, and I'm sure other people have said too, where you can kind of just come and go,
exhale. And that's the whole purpose. It's just it's a place that we want to be like a sanctuary of just uniqueness and celebrating the culture of African American, and however that looks like it, and not to be ashamed of it, and show them with the pictures that we have on the wall, just to say all the things that are created by African Americans or people of color from all over the world. That just excites my spirit. It just does something to us because we're so colorful. I mean, look at your glasses, they're red. We love pop, whatever we can get to pop out. And so that's the whole concept, and that's why it's so important for our community that Afro World continues, because it does something for the spirit of the community.
It does. I remember one time you were toiling back and forth. This is probably about 10, 12 years ago when I first moved back to the St. Louis area. And you were asking me, should we change the name to blah, blah, blah? Should we do this? I said, no, Afro World is it.
I know. And it's funny because in the 70s, because the Afros it was up and coming, like the Black Power movement. And now, fast forwarding today in 2017, we're still there. And it's like Afro, the young generation love to come in for their dashikis or a button or something to connect to. And it's amazing how it's full circle. And it was funny because we did think about changing the name to be more inclusive of everyone. But now we realize that people love it. They like the uniqueness of it. And something about a small business in the community, it attached to all of us. It's a part of who we are.
It is. It really is. I mean, I pass by there quite a bit coming from and to work, and It's still strong, holding on, doing your thing. Things looking beautiful in there. I go in and I want to buy something every time I come in there, and I do. Just looking at the business over the years, you've had a lot of different events that you hold there. Tell us a little bit about some of these book events that you have. You also have a person who does hats. That's out of New York, a designer that comes in and she does the whole thing. Tell us about some of those events you hold.
So we do events all the time. It's as keepers of the culture, we try to make sure that we educate the community. We're in a couple of weeks we're doing an event on climate control, which is climate justice, and Ken Denson will be hosting that event, which we're really excited about. And it shows that in our climate, there's a lot of things that affect us: our food, our environment,
the rain.
Yeah, just
things are changing.
Yeah, things are changing. So we're talking about that, and we talk. Then St. Louis American will be hosting something on Money Wise.
Very good.
And it's constantly we do Soulful Santa, which is our Black Santa
Now
Claus.
that is tell everybody about Soulful Santa. I remember back in the day when the only place a lot of Black businesses could advertise was on KATZ radio. Okay, 1600. And I remember that coming out, and our jocks and everybody that were really excited about Mr. Little having this Black Santa Claus. And everybody was always wondering, where can we take our kids? And this was a place to go.
I know. Well, it's
and you guys are still doing it.
We do it. My brother Victor started it when my sons were young. Because I was like, God, I feel so weird taking, and no offense, but taking this little Black kid sitting on a little white Santa, because I wanted my children to find something that looked like him or her. And so my brother heard what I was saying, and being an actor, he created Soulful Santa, which was the Black Santa Claus, and we've done it for years. We've had grandkids, like now the kids that used to come when they were smaller, they're bringing their kids. And it's really interesting because it's really pretty cool because we have parents that are white parents that have adopted Black kids, so they come and we give them the whole experience.
I witnessed that one time I came out to visit just to check everything out. It was like, wow.
And we give the kid a book, like a children's book. We give them
really love that.
Yeah, we give them a fruit like an apple and orange, and then we give them a candy cane, of course. But it's just a whole experience of just having fun with it. So we love that. And then, of course, we do the Kwanzaa celebration.
Yes.
We do our Black History Kickoff celebration. And then we do a whole series of events in February. And we do the Women's Empowering, where we have African American women coming. And then we do our big thing for Forest Park Forever, which is our piece of connecting to the community, where we bring women that normally won't cross 170 to our little area in Normandy to connect with other women from the city and the surrounding areas. So people that normally don't look alike coming together. We started this years ago, trying to bring in the diversity in our community, and we thought the park, what better place to support, because the park is so free to everybody. Anybody can enjoy the park. Yeah, the Forest Park. Anybody can enjoy the park. So we thought, well, since we're hosting the hat show and they do the big hat luncheon, why not support it? And that's how the whole thing came across. And we bring in Harriet Rosebud of New York. I don't have any of her hats here, but
she's got some really nice, unique hats and everything. You do have some items out here that the original pieces that Afro World is well known for, and some of the artwork. You got to start bringing in artwork as well as different designers that are doing some things. I have to say, back in 2007, this shop was the only place you could find an Obama sticker, an Obama sign, and you, lady, really just hung in there and really were like that central location where people could come and get Obama whatever they were looking for when this whole new person, this guy who decided to just defy all the odds to run for president, you were there on the forefront.
Well, I had the pleasure.
That was pretty brave.
Well, I know, and my dad always told me never to get involved in politics, but had the pleasure of meeting him at a friend's home, and when I met him, and I said, well, how do we get the word about you? And he said, you need to tell people. And I couldn't sleep the night, and I called my dad. I said, I know you told me never to get involved in politics, but I have to help him. I have to do something. So I purchased 100 buttons, and I sold them within a day.
You did.
And then it kept evolving. Then we became the North County location for the president, and we've been involved in politics since. Even now, we're in the process of educating people, making sure they're registered voters, work with some of the local mayors in the area, in the Normandy area, to come together so we're in understanding of the candidates that are running, so we can have people that can speak on our behalf. And I think that's very important in terms of our growth in the community, and to be proactive in making changes if we do it politically.
That makes a total sense, because that does nothing but help your business grow when you've got other people active in understanding why and how businesses need to grow. Afro World just feels so much a part of the region, because I mean, when I think of Afro World, I don't think of it just as a county business or something that's out there. You've crossed so many lines, you've crossed so many barriers that have been set up. The Afro World is also the kind of place where people can come and sort of vent and get good ideas from you. You have become known as this networker, this person who kind of connects folks together. Because I'm still involved with organizations that you introduced me to years ago that are still doing quite well and doing some wonderful things in the St. Louis community.
I know, I get calls, they'll say, we need a painter. I'm like, pick up the Black Pages, and they'll call me, they'll call Afro World and say, I know you know a painter I can call. And so they call, they feel if we validate it, then there's some sincerity behind it. And I appreciate that, because I think that your legacy should be something that takes a life of its own. And if your legacy is not, it should never be in vain. And I think even without me being around, if I'm not here to carry on with Afro World, the Afro World will always have a legacy of its own, a positiveness. You don't hear like us doing anything, you know, irresponsible, and being really kind to the customers, and really treating people with respect, because each person, we never judge a person. We don't care if they come in there. I have some people that are literally homeless that come in the store all the time. They'll just come in and say hi. They'll just come and say hi to get some water. It says, how you doing? They call me mommy, you know, or they may be mentally ill, but I still respect them as a person. And all of my staff, they the same way. We know these people.
It's like a safe, warm place there. When you come in, it's nice and warm, and the incense are always going. You always have great music on for people to relax and talk to. You've got a lot of really good things that have really evolved out there, and have really made a big difference for the community. And where would you like to see Afro World go from here? I know going online has been a big difference for you now.
Well, we've always been online. We were the first hair company. My brother Russ was the first one to put it online for the internet.
We got to wrap up now.
We got to wrap up.
We're running out of time. Done. But we can have you back. And in fact, we'll come on out there and hang out with you one day. And just do a show out there and see what's happening at Afro World and see who's coming in. I want to thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're such a sweetheart. Thank you, sweetie. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us about your fine, about Afro World, Sheila. We have got some great information coming up next. Lots been going on in St. Louis community. Come on back.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
And welcome back to City Corner. I'm Robin Boyce, and in the studios with me right now is a great guest, someone who is near and dear to my heart. and is doing a really good job out here in the St. Louis community trying to solve some issues, help people out, reach out. It's James Clark of Better Family Life, who is Vice President of Outreach for that organization. Thank you, James, for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Robin.
Thank you so much. I have to bring you in for the updates. Find out, I know about what's going on. We have been, since the Stockey verdict, dealing with a lot of protesting in the St. Louis area with reference to how the verdict happened. Individuals are speaking up for Black Lives Matters. They are asking for change within the police system. They are speaking up on the NFL football fields with reference to systemic racism and a quiet, peaceful protest as well, or either raising a fist or kneeling. There is lots of attention coming forward from individuals, stars, local people, when it comes to what has been happening to African American men and women, for that matter, when it comes to police stops, when it comes to what happens with an individual when they are arrested. You have been working on the defensive end and on the offensive end of helping people holistically. Not just browbeating and saying you got to do this and you got to go there, but through Better Family Life, you've been dealing with working with folks in the community when it comes to pulpits to porches, actually going to the home and knocking on the door and asking what Uncle P needs, as well as Mama, and his grandma needs something there. You've been on the forefront of seeing what's happening with gangs and how they are. We were talking previously before going to air about the fact that the Crips and the Bloods have kind of faded out just a little bit, and now it's becoming what you call individual crimes that are happening in the community. As we move forward in protest, as you continue to move forward in your work along with your associates, where do you think we're going at this point? Because the country kind of right now is in a turmoil of we want to be heard, we want to be heard now, and we need change. What do you see coming? And I'm just going to say specific to the St. Louis community. What do we see coming?
Robin, when you look at it, we're in unprecedented times. When you look at what it took for us to get here and how long it's taken for us to get here as a nation, it's because we're very, very short-sighted. We come up with programs and we come up with quick fixes, but we're afraid to go to the root of the problem and address it. St. Louis, just as America is, we find ourselves between the crosshairs. And we find ourselves at a very important crossroad. Now, when you're in the crosshairs, that means that the target is on you. You are the target, and you're about to take a hit. So St. Louis is taking a real hit right now. After we rebound from the hit, we are going to come to a crossroad, and we're going to have to make the right decision at that crossroad. And in St. Louis, we've got to include people. See, I think that society needs this right now because we have a society where if you have everything, people bow down to you. People put you on a pedestal. And if you have nothing, nobody wants to have nothing to do with you.
Oh, perceived that you have nothing.
Yeah, and so that's a fundamental problem where we chase people and we give people status based on education, based on talent, based on we make celebrities, and celebrities dictate the tone. We've got to turn this ship around, and we've got to go to the crack addicted and the heroin addicted person, and we've got to zero in on them in order to save St. Louis, and then in order to save America. We're at a very serious juncture right now. Very serious juncture.
Are we going to see that, what you're talking about, that crossroads sooner or later, especially coming, again, I'm going to be specific to St. Louis. Are we going to see that crossroads happen, bringing individuals to the table, as we did with the Ferguson Commission, as we did. We saw years before that, as we saw on many occasions, and you and I sat in on community meetings with the continuous studies on everything, and we know what the problem is. But are we going to really seriously finally see the civic progresses folks, or the whoever, whatever they call now, regional chamber? We're going to see those folks from these different corporations and decision makers in this community seriously, the city hall, the politicians, seriously take seriously what's in that Ferguson forward report. I mean, the framework is right there. Are we seriously going to see people seriously sit down at tables and seriously start working towards that?
Well, Robin, first you've got to have the right people at the table when you craft the narrative. You know, I was there in Ferguson, saw it, predicted it, but there's a much deeper problem. Ferguson didn't just happen in a vacuum. We saw it at Better Family Life. We saw the police stops. We saw people getting tickets. We saw the warrants. We saw how having an outstanding warrant limited your access to resources. You can't get a job with an outstanding warrant. You can't rent from a reputable landlord with an outstanding warrant. So at Better Family Life, we said we need a resource for people, and we started the amnesty program.
Exactly.
See, Robin, it's not enough to just know. See, it's no longer good enough to have the data to support the narrative. Poverty is the root cause of crime. Lack of education is the root cause of poverty. We know those things. It's taken us too long to come up with solutions. You know, I worked in the mayor's office from 93 to 97, and I was blown away when Freeman commissioned a youth crime task force. And this task force looked at the city, and it came up with data, disparity study, health, the digital divide was brand new then, high school dropout rate, all kind of data points, a nicely bound full color publication. And I read it and I was like, we're finally going to get to the bottom of the crisis because we've documented that we understand it. That was in 1993. Every year, St. Louis has produced the same document. It points to the same side of town. It points to the same zip codes. It points to the same neighborhoods. It points to the same blocks. So we know where the problem is. We are too slow to respond in a sustained fashion. It's no longer good enough to know. We've got to be in the neighborhoods. We've got to be on the front porches, and we've got to get in the living rooms of the families who need help the most. We cannot continue to just write off an entire side of St. Louis, and we cannot continue to, as a country, disregard the plight of people who have been underprivileged.
We have quite a few new aldermen with the Board of Aldermen now who are young. The millennials are running for office. Is that one of the issues? We are not seeing enough young, bright people or folk, even my age, who are ready to move on and retire, but still have a lot of energy and want to do some things. But folks like myself and others don't want to run for public service or run for office. Is that what's going on now?
Well, everyone is pretty jaded. Everyone is very, very cynical now. People don't think that society is going to get better, so they're just opting out. Voter turnout is going to hit an all-time low in upcoming years because people say, vote for what? So I think that we're going to hit a major skid as this emotion continues to bubble up. We haven't hit the boiling point yet. But to your question, we do have a new brand of elected officials, not just in St. Louis, every major city in America. And my fear is that because they're very, very internet savvy, they are very, very Twitter oriented, they're very, very Facebook active. That's not boots on the ground. So as we're looking at a young Brandon Bosley, we're looking at a Bruce Franks, we are looking at a John Muhammad, very, very bright young men, and we're looking at a Tashara Jones, and then there are young Southside aldermen as well. We've got to make sure that they understand what it really means to be in leadership. Leadership is not about likes on Facebook and it's not about shares. It's about being able to go and stand on the front porch, talk to people, see what their needs are, and then deliver their needs to their living room, not through a Facebook or a Twitter post. See, Robin, our parents handed us a community that was intact.
Yes, they did.
Our neighborhoods were intact.
Yes, they were.
See, we were the last generations of African Americans, and we were the last generation of St. Louisans
Yes.
that saw a functioning, responsive St. Louis.
Yes, we did. We did. It was a different time.
Yeah.
There were jobs.
Yes.
There
yes.
was an economy here in St. Louis that was still continuously moving, even
Yeah.
though there was a move of individuals moving out of the city of St. Louis for whatever various reasons,
Yeah.
school districts, jobs, better housing, or different kinds of housing, et
Yeah.
cetera. Because the housing here in the St. Louis city is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Fabulous
Yeah.
housing, and a lot of people are coming back and reclaiming it.
Yeah.
But there is a point, like you said, that's boiling up
Yeah.
where folks really seriously going to have to start sitting down.
Yes. Yes.
Will it take the black community sitting down and doing it themselves and not worrying about looking on the outside? Is that going to be one of the moves that's going to have to happen, or what?
We are going to have to take responsibility for what's going on in our neighborhoods. We cannot deflect the fact that we have a very large crime problem.
Yeah.
Now, we know the root causes of crime, but there is a spirit that black people have to reignite that says, black people, we don't kill each other.
Right.
There's a spirit that we have to reignite that says, we can argue today, but we'll be family and we'll be friends tomorrow. And there's no legislation that can muster that. We have to look at our new leaders. Bruce Franks, Brandon Bosley, Young Aldrich are all beginning to step up, and they're coming to the mantle of leadership. We have got to work with them, and we have got to be able to really get to the root of our problem as African American people. We have a personal problem with each other.
Yeah.
We have a hard time getting along. We don't even want to speak to each other anymore, and there's no legislation
That's going to fix that at all.
that is going to fix that.
Not de-escalation situations that you all had set up in the churches.
Yeah.
Still working, still moving
Robin,
forward on it?
We you know, it is one thing to talk about reducing gun violence. It's a whole nother dynamic when you sit in the living room with a mother whose daughter has been shot at and work through the dynamic with her daughter and her enemy. It is almost surreal, but that's the level that we have to go to.
And you all are continuing to do that. We're
Yes.
running out of time, and of course,
Yes.
you're going to come back as always.
Absolutely.
I
Would
need
love
these
to.
updates from you.
Yes.
But thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the St. Louis community, and continue to please come back and talk with
Absolutely.
us about what's going
Yeah.
on. And we'd like to get out there with some cameras with you one day and just walk
But
the
then,
streets
Robin,
with you.
get Brandon Bosley on. Get
I do.
Bruce
I'm
Franks on.
gonna do
Get
that.
Young Aldrich
I'm
on.
gonna work toward getting those
them
guys on. I
because
really
they
do.
need to gleam.
They do. They need to
From
understand
us.
what's going on. You're
Yes.
right. Thank you so
Yes.
much, James. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining us here on City Corner. We will see you the next time. You have an awesome day and or week. Bye-bye.